I'm Kurt Shimmers. Every day, fortunes are gained and lost in the financial markets. News, trends, and even geopolitical events shape your financial landscape. Join me and my expert guests right now on Traders Nation. Welcome. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Don and I have got a jam-packed show, man. Danielle Shay, she's back with us again today. She's the director of options and a trader specialist over there at Simpler Trading. We love those folks, man. We're going to be talking about how trade-related news, how you can profit from that. Some major falls and some others, and good news on the other side. So we're going to be talking about that and how to approach those types of trades. Plus, Don and I switched up our list here a little bit today. All right, we're going to be bringing gambling back onto our list. It's always fun, and we got some great moves there, plus a whole lot more. So we got gas stocks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Traders Nation, if you promise not to tune out, we promise not to talk about you while you're gone. Traders Nation. Traders Nation. Get Pro Online DVD Trader today. Whether you're an experienced trader or just beginning, you'll improve your skills dramatically. Click on the Knowledge Center button to order your copy today. Traders Nation, delivering what you want when you want it. Traders Nation. Traders Nation. Live.
It's on the whole time.
Bringing traders coverage of the markets, solid trading strategies, potential hot stock movers, world-class guests, informative callers, and unsurpassed market chatter for traders to take all the way to the bank.
You guys got some great stuff coming out. I mean, the great station.
Stay on top.
This is always changing. It's always fresh. Something new.
Stay tuned in. Traders Nation.
There's always something to look forward to.
Clearly, you can hear the difference. Traders Nation. It's the Traders Nation Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Forbes, and you're watching Traders Nation.
Yeah, Steve-O. You can catch that interview with Steve Forbes.
That's right.
Yeah, publisher magazine, Forbes magazine, presidential candidate, a couple times I think too. A book author of Flat Tax Revolution. Check it out over at tradersnation.com or our YouTube channel, Traders Nation. You can get that interview plus God knows how many more mountains of interviews with just about anybody and everybody, Don, right? Over 17 years. Hey, Don.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, Don, you know what? Wanted to switch it up a little bit here today, right? Certainly wanted to bring back gaming. Gaming looks like some nice recoveries going on, especially with a couple stocks. We'll get to that in a minute. But, you know, some fun, right? Get some fun into these lists, and certainly gaming is pretty exciting right now. Especially if you're at the table in Vegas, that's pretty exciting too. I wouldn't mind being there. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being there right now for sure. Drink in hand. So nonetheless, hey Don, let's move on to this. Let's start off with some towers here today. AMT American Tower currently trading at $194.96. If you bring in the charts on this, right, still doing the sideways action. If you see that, digesting some of those handsome gains that it's seen recently, and certainly right around the corner we got a dividend of 90 cents on April 10th, and that's AMT, Don.
Well, rotation today, and they're rotating. You know, the markets are up strong. The markets are up over $100 right now.
Yeah.
But a little rotation going on over here in the tower business today. Some of our payers, there's rotation going on there, and some of the other big sectors, and some of the tech stocks specifically in the enterprise software area. But I'm not too worried about these tower companies. These are long-haul companies.
Yeah.
Interesting business. It's a high barrier of entry, and American Tower, Crown Castle, SBAC, the ones we follow here, they are safe for now because this is going to be an extremely high-growth business when 5G finally takes off.
Yeah, without a doubt. AMT should be on your radar. Certainly CCI, since you mentioned it, Don, let's talk about that one. Currently trading $127.89 right here today. One thing that I did notice, Don, for instance, like CCI, 202,000 shares exchanging hands here today so far in this time period of the trading session. A little bit light on the volumes. Volumes are light on some of these. Same thing with AMT. Volumes are light here this morning. CCI holding up well at these levels considering some of the selling that we've seen in these stocks and other stocks on our list when it comes to this. A little bit of sideways action on CCI with a slight bias to the downside, just like Don's saying, okay? All right, CCI, Charlie International, Don.
Well, Crown Castle And I want the listeners and viewers to understand that on Crown Castle, a little bit more than a tower company, they are emerging as one of the big fiber carriers as well around the country. It's a domestic U.S. company only, but we're not too worried about CCI. Crown Castle, Texas company. And keep in mind that these companies are real estate investment trusts. They own much of the real estate where their towers sit. And, of course, CCI, American Tower, and we're going to talk about SBAC. These companies are all going to benefit as these smaller towers, these small cells begin to roll out. And by the way, just as an interesting side point on this, some 5G phones are being rolled out now by Verizon.
Okay.
So we're just going to see slow and steady uptick on these 5G stocks.
It's coming, folks. All right. So what John's talking about is real estate, these REITs. So these towers, if you look at a tower, let's say you're standing on top of this tower and you look straight down, there's that footprint. That's the land that the tower companies own. They own that footprint. Okay, so that's what makes it a real estate play also, because they own that land that's sitting on it. It's a REIT. So CCI, AMT, certainly SBAC, Don, we mentioned that one also. Currently trading at $200.10 here today, Don. 77,000 shares exchanging, and not big volume, but okay. It's not bad, all right. Respectable. Up $8 since we spoke about it last, about the only one that really is. Created a new 52-week high yesterday, Don. Remember we were talking about these 52-week highs? Certainly SBAC did that. Sam Bravo Alpha Charlie created that 52-week high yesterday at $201.57, Don.
Well, yeah, and yes, over $200, $201.67 now is the 52-week high.
Oh,
but
okay,
this is another one now. If you take a look at the 3-month, 4-month, 6-month history on this stock, you'll see it creeping up to these highs. And SBAC, very strong in South America, and to just regurgitate what I said before, this is another one that's going to benefit from the 5G business. And keep in mind that once they put the tower up and they begin to deploy the dishes on the towers, their additional business is easy to add on. So the profit margins when they add new business is really quite good. So that's the short, easy part of the tower business. But once again, 5G being rolled out in this sector, you want to keep an eye on these companies.
Yeah, without a doubt. AMT, CCI, and SBAC, to rehash the tickers on the towers that we talked about here today. Hey, Don, I'm excited. We're going to move on to gaming, okay? We haven't talked about gaming in a while because gaming really, really took a hit. We think it's settled down at this point. We see some nice gains coming back into gaming. Let's start off with Wynn, W-Y-N-N. Wynn Resorts currently trading at $140.61 at this point, Don. Huge last 4 days of trading. Let's bring the charts up for folks watching Traders Nation today. Look at this trading on this thing, man. It's monster-like, gapped up, and then a big, huge green candle days, busting over that 200-day moving average in a big way. Don, your thoughts?
Well, on Wynn, the results are back in from Macau, and once again, results are strong.
Yeah.
They have a legal issue up there in Massachusetts with the new property. That seems to be getting resolved with the state of Massachusetts and the regulators up there. The wind effect on the stock has certainly hurt it. But if you take a look at this stock, if you have the stomach, this stock was trading at around $90 not long ago.
Right.
And here it is sitting in the 140 range and a 52-week high on of 202 on Wynn. And what can I say? You got to keep an eye on it. And they'll be rolling out this new Massachusetts property as soon as they can. In the process of being built, there were some questions now because of Steve Wynn's problems with being ousted from the company. But they seem to be getting resolved here over the next month or two.
Good, yeah. So we were there when it hit that 52-week high with Wynn, a little over $200. We're also there when it dropped down, right, 100 and below. And here we are at 140.61 here today. In fact, Don, one of the things we're going to talk about today with Danielle Shay is that the news-related falls, and certainly Win is one of those. Tesla would be another one, Boeing another. And so certainly Win falls right into that. And so how to trade those. So you're not going to want to miss that when we get our guests coming up next. How to trade those news-related, good or bad, right, plays. Okay. Win, W-Y-N-N, is Win Resorts, Whiskey Yankee National. Las Vegas Sands up next on our list here today, currently trading at $65.11 here today. 1 million shares exchanging hands on this one, Don. Just like when big trading sessions and a gap up right over that 200-day moving average, man. It's beautiful. Look at the gap on this thing, man. 200-day moving average. Very bullish, trading above that 200-day moving average, but the gap up and just simply surpassed it, flew over that 200-day moving average. Doing very nicely here today. Las Vegas Sands LVS, Don.
Well, this is another one. LVS, Macau results are in and knocked the cover off the ball. There seems to be a health issue revolving around Shelley, Shelley Edelman, the chair of the company. He's getting up there now. He's pushing around. I think he's about 86, 87.
Sure.
But they'll resolve that. Good management team, good depth. Here on the bench, but LVS coming back. 52-week high of about $80, so we got a ways to go. But they got beat up, but they're coming back.
Yeah, without a doubt. LVS Las Vegas Sands, put on your watch list if it's not there. All right. We got a couple more, but we're going to shotgun those out on the other side, okay? Coming up next, we got Danielle Shay. She's going to be talking with us today about trade-related news falls. And then on the other side is trade-related news that's good. How to trade those as a trader and the traps to avoid, because you don't want to get caught in some of that good news, bad news stuff, right? Stay tuned right here at Traders Nation. We'll be right back.
Traders Nation salutes America. Stay strong, stay proud, and stay in the green with us. Traders Nation live, bold, and packed for profit every weekday morning. Traders Nation, live, bold, and packed for profit. Sign up today for our weekly HTML newsletter and check out the Traders Nation store for products to enhance your stock trading day. Traders Nation, what you want, when you want it. Traders Nation.
Hey, Jeff Carlisi here from 38 Special, and we're rocking it up right here with Traders Nation.
Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. My pleasure to have back with us once again Danielle Shay. She's Director of Options and a Trader Specialist at Simpler Trading. Danielle, welcome back to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing real good, thanks. Thanks for being back with us again. Hey, so news is pretty important in the market, especially for traders. And as traders, we got to really be careful on the type of news, but there are ways that we can trade news, especially bad news, if you will. Is there a formula when it comes to that we should be looking at as traders with news?
Yes, definitely. So one of the most important factors that I always look at as far as when I'm trying to decide if I should buy something after a news-related drop is how strong it was previous to that news announcement. That is absolutely critical because you don't want to buy something that was already weak.
Right. So let me take off on that because certainly there's a bias as technicals come into play, and if the technicals are strong and biased towards a certain way, whether it's bullish or bearish, sometimes bad news doesn't have an effect on the stock, does it? I mean, if everything's lined up and bad news all of a sudden comes out, unless it's catastrophic, it really doesn't have an effect on it, does it?
No, and this is actually what I like to call the phoenixes. So the stocks that you will notice that they shake off bad news very quickly. I like to call those the phoenixes because they rise from the ashes, and those are especially the ones you like to jump on immediately.
Sure. So, but then there's other instances, for instance, like I mentioned, catastrophic. Boeing would be one. The 737, sadly, a couple planes went down, a lot of souls lost. And you almost hate to, as a trader, traders almost hate to play those, right? But they still do. Some still do, certainly. So what about something like that? You just cannot get away from catastrophic news from a company.
No, and I mean, Boeing especially was really, really interesting because, I mean, Boeing does not have, of course, Airbus is a competitor to Boeing, but overall, I mean, Boeing beats Airbus in almost every way, shape, and form. It's also the top-weighted product in the Dow. It's one of the best in the industrials. And it's been incredibly strong. So when Boeing fell, I was starting to look at that for a moment where I could buy it. But it was because even though the fall was pretty catastrophic, it still held key areas of support.
Right, and that's important, isn't it? Because those key areas of support can tell somebody, especially if you're shorting it, right, where you may want to cover or where you may want to pick some up, potentially, correct?
Yes, exactly. And because Boeing was able to hold the 200 period simple, for me, that was a key sign that it could start to go up in the future. Yeah,
how risky is shorting something like that with news coming out? Certainly, you got people that just have steel guts, right? But I mean, it's pretty risky to try to gauge the severity of the news to come in and short something, especially if it's already moving south, correct?
Yes, exactly. So when I'm thinking about, well, first of all, I prefer to look at these strong names and buy them after bad news versus trying to short them. But if something is already weak, for example, Walgreens had about a 12% fall on earnings, but it was already very weak. So something like that I would maybe consider shorting.
Sure. Real quickly, because you mentioned Airbus. How did the other competitors to Boeing fare in the market after those crashes come out? Were traders in the markets looking at these competitors, for instance, like Airbus? Were they able to avoid any type of negative impact on their stock and the market price? How did that come out?
So, I mean, first of all, I think that Airbus is a really interesting example because it hasn't. The stock has been it's been strong this year, and overall, you know, it really didn't take a hit the way that Boeing did whatsoever. It pulled back slightly to the 21 EMA, and it was fine. But I think the other interesting factor that we need to continue watching here are going to be the airliners. So, you know, Southwest in particular has the largest amount of the Boeing MAX planes, that I would potentially see a little bit more impact there because of the amount of plane cancellations they're having, or flight cancellations that they're having now. Right.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I'm actually going on Southwest here very soon. First thing I did, man, checked it. What kind of plane are we on, right? And I'm happy to say, just for my own sake and my own mind frame, I'm on a 737-700, 737-800. So, as far as I know, that's not the max because I think it actually specifies it's the max. So, I can see that happening, and I think that's a great point because whatever airlines that have this particular type of plane, consumers like me that fly. We've got concerns about that, obviously, for obvious reasons. So that's got to hit some of these airlines. Is it affecting any of these other airlines, Alaska Air, anybody else, American Air?
So let me check. I mean, the Southwest, judging from the chart right now, Southwest looks pretty affected by this news, and it has been able to climb over the course of the past few days. But it's running directly into resistance. Alaska, yes. Looking very impacted by this news as well. And because especially, the other thing too that you have to look at on a news-related event is how long it's going to be drawn out. And because all of these airlines are having to cancel so many flights, and the fixes aren't in place yet, it's going to be, you know, a continuous problem. And it looks to me like United as well has been affected. So I would say across the airlines, yes, we are seeing an impact. They're trying to come back to life. But so far, they're not looking so great.
Well, you know as well as I do, these investigations are not fast. They're not quick at all. They're not meant to be. So these things, you're right, these things absolutely draw out forever, right? It could be an easy, good year or better. They could be in a 12 to 24-month period before this thing even settles out. So these airlines could be spotted with negative news about these MAX incidents for quite some time. So I would be cautious, and you may agree with that, right?
Yes, definitely, and especially directly after the news hits. I typically wait for a couple days, and what I want to do is I want to watch for the price action to level out. So I want to see the price action find support, hold the low from the initial hit, and then I'll watch a 15, 30-minute chart to watch for it to start turning higher. And so that's the point where I'll start to get into it, but I will never do an aggressive strategy. So, for example, I like trading butterflies on something like this. In the options world, just because they're a pretty conservative strategy, and I don't like to have a large amount of capital invested in it because, just like you said, there's still news coming out, and it's going to be dragging out for a while.
Yeah, absolutely right. So what we do, so Daniel's talking about, we wait for it to level out. Do you wait for a confirmation, maybe a day or two, for that pivot to the upside?
I do. So what I use is the moving average cross, really. So I just wait for it to level off.
Nice.
And then I like to see the 15-minute moving average cross, 30-minute moving average cross for confirmation, and that's when I will start placing some orders.
That's a beautiful thing. We're almost out of time. I want to talk about good news trading. Certainly there is an anticipation. You know, folks try to anticipate news and good news, etc. Your thoughts on good news trading?
So it kind of depends what it is. My favorite good news trading is the run into earnings, but I trade the anticipation of the good news, not the actual news. So I will, for example, buy Microsoft 15 days ahead of earnings and ride it higher on the anticipation of the news versus buying it on the actual news. So that is my favorite way to trade good news.
Buy on newsroom or sell on news. Okay, there you have it. Where can we find you, Danielle? Where's the website?
You can find me at 5startrader.com or simplertrading.com.
Head on over to those websites today. Certainly check out Danielle Shay. Danielle Shay, Director of Options and a Trader Specialist. Thanks for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. Real good interview. Wouldn't you agree, Don? Hey, so Don, what were we talking about before we went over this? So we had...
Gambling.
Gambling, that's right. What do we got left? I know. Well,
we talked about WIN. We talked about LBS. They're both on the move today.
That's right.
We want to talk also about PENN, P-E-N-N.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is a regional stock. Now, this company's been around for a number of years now. They've grown through acquisition. But I like this one. This is another emerging gaming stock. P-E-N-N is the symbol. It's got a 32-week high of $30, so it's been trimmed back to around $21 in here, but this is one you want to keep an eye on. PENN Gaming.
Yeah, no doubt. PENN. Like Don says, trading at $21, a little north of that. Okay. Nice reversal from that support on it. Had a low of $19.80, so nice reversal off that. If you bring your charts up on that, let's do that for him. Bring these charts up. You can take a look right there. Nice reversal off that low of $19.80, Don. Hey, Don, where can we find you at? We might as well get that out of the way.
Well, we can do Facebook, we do Twitter, we do Instagram. It's just Don McKelvey at the social media sites.
Yeah, check out. Get over there. Get involved, folks. I mean, come on. Get involved. Comment, like, and most importantly, share some of that great information that's out there. You can find me all the same places. Traders Nation also. Traders Nation at Twitter, etc. We don't own any stocks we talked about today, and they're not buy or sell recommendations. You need to know that, right, Don?
That's it.
Yeah, all right. We appreciate you tuning in today. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next edition of Traders Nation.